Proposal 15, which is Cyrtodactylus jeyporensis, the Jeypore hill gecko. This is a proposal to include in Appendix II, and the proponent is India. So, India, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. India is pleased to introduce COP19 Proposal 15 to include the Jeypore hill gecko, Cyrtodactylus jeyporensis, in Appendix II of the Convention of the COP for adoption. The Jeypore hill gecko is an attractive species of gecko which is endemic to the eastern Ghats of India. It has been recorded from very few localities in the southern Odisha and northern Andhra Pradesh. In total, it has been recorded from only 4 localities, including 1 historical record. The species is handsome looking, very docile, which makes it vulnerable to the international pet trade. Despite its rarity, with so little being known about it, the species appears to have already found its way in the international pet trade, as is evidenced by the advertisements on the social media, which is documented in Annex 1 to the proposal. The species is in trade in countries outside of India, and there is demand for the species amongst reptile breeders and traders. We would like to apprise the parties that the Jeypore hill gecko is proposed to be listed in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972 through a forthcoming amendment which is pending in the Parliament. The habitat of the Jeypore hill gecko is declining due to forest fires and tourism activities, amongst other causes, and its range does not fall within any protected area. Surveys conducted by the Indian Institute of Science and the Zoological Survey of India has indicated that the population of the species may be declining at a very fast rate. Cyrtodactylus jeyporensis is classified as endangered by the IUCN. Cyrtodactylus jeyporensis qualifies for listing on Appendix II of CITES as it meets the criteria in paragraph 2, parenthesis A of Article 2 of the Convention and criteria A in Annexure 2 small a of the Conference Resolution 9.4, Rev COP 17. Due to restricted area of occurrence of the species, the ongoing decline of the species population and continued threat to the species, any collection of the species for international pet trade is very likely to have a very detrimental impact on its status. While we believe that the species may actually qualify for inclusion in CITES Appendix 1, and Appendix 2 CITES listing as a start would, number 1, provide regulation of international trade in the species and penalties for violations, thereby helping in controlling illegal export of the species from India, and number 2, generate trade data regarding international trade and demand for the species. We draw the attention of the parties to IUCN and Traffic's analysis of COP19 proposals, where both of which conclude that the species appear to meet the criteria for Appendix 2 listing. We urge the parties to support our proposal to list the Jeypore hill gecko, the Appendix 2 of the Convention. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, India. And with that, I open the floor for comments from parties. I see the European Union.
Thank you, Chair. I speak on behalf of the EU and its member states. It is typical for species of the genus Cyrtodactylus to have a small range, and this does not necessarily cause any conservation concerns. However, the situation for Cyrtodactylus jeyporensis seems to be different. The recent rediscovery of the small gecko species created a specific demand, and market prices are so high that they might stimulate an unsustainable exploitation of the 2 small areas where the species occurs. Therefore, the EU and its member states consider it necessary to include the species in Appendix 2, and we hope that this will protect it from unsustainable and illegal international trade. And if I might add, we had also a proposal number 14. Might this have been skipped accidentally? Thank you.
You are correct, European Union. I picked up 2 pieces of paper at once, I think, so I thought we were making good progress. We'll come back to Proposal 14 in a few minutes when we have resolved this proposal. So thank you. We note your support. I don't see any further requests from the floor. Whenever I say that, someone presses their button. So Niger, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. Niger supports this proposal and on the basis of the arguments in favor of India's proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Niger. And I am interpreting the absence of requests from parties as indicating support for this proposal, so we can resolve it very quickly, I hope. I will give a chance for observers to make very brief comments if they wish, but given the the brevity of the few requests from parties and overall consensus, I mean extremely short comments. So the Wildlife Trust of India, you have the floor.